Hey y'all! Today I want to talk about my 5 most hated artistic stereotypes. Oof, yes. And here's the thing. Stereotypes exist because there's a bit of truth behind them. And the unfortunate thing about stereotypes is it's a broad brushstroke. It puts everybody into a box together. And as humans, we love boxes. We love to put things in them. We love to take it and be like, oh, this fits in this box. I get it. And because artists, we tend to be edgy, we tend to be quirky, we tend to be unique, we tend to not always follow the grain. People are always looking for ways to put us in a box, to figure us out. Because, we're hard to figure out. We're just a little different. Anyways, so today I'm going to talk about my 5 stereotypes that I hate the most. And here we go. The first one, and this should be no surprise to anyone, is the starving artist. The starving artist. It is such a common misconception, and it's also romanticized. There's all these tales of these famous artists who never sold a painting until they died. And it's just, no, artists do not have to be starving in any way, shape, or form. It's a career like anything else. Being creative is a career like anything else. And this starving artist idea, this cautionary tale, has actually kept people from being creative, which is horrible. And I just wish this stereotype would just stop. I wish it would just go away. And, every time an artist, doesn't make it, or something doesn't work out, or there is this backlash of see, I told you, art doesn't pay, and it's not fair. Every other occupation has people who do great and people who don't. It isn't just art. So don't blame art for the reason maybe somebody isn't making a great income. Starving artist, the worst. The next one that drives me bananas is the tortured artist. Because God forbid we make great art when we're happy. It just doesn't make any sense. Some of the greatest art comes from when you're the happiest, comes from the greatest times of your life. There's just no reason that art has to be this suffering, brooding thing. It's such a huge misconception of where creativity comes from. Yes, creativity is tied to emotions, but it can be any emotion. It can be love, it can be joy, it can be pain, but it doesn't have to be sadness. It just doesn't have to be. And if somebody is self-medicating and depressed and antisocial, or, maybe they are acting out in certain ways, maybe it's a cry for help, not necessarily this glorious tortured artist thing. Okay? So don't think they go together. If somebody is acting in an unhealthy way, it's unhealthy. It's not part of the art process. And we need to rethink that. Another one that needs to be thought about is the social outcast. Hate to break it to you, but you can't just spot an artist across the room because of the way they dress. Artists might dress quirky, they might dress fun, they might dress different than most people. But you can't just look at somebody who's dressed quirky and different and be like, oh, that's an artist. And also lots of artists don't necessarily need to be horrible at social interaction or introverted, or they don't like people. Lots of artists, like me, are extroverts. We love people. We talk, we interact, we like having people around. The idea that an artist has to be this socially awkward, different, outcasted person just doesn't make any sense. Some artists like things just like everyone else. Some artists like sports even, and fishing and hunting and doing all kinds of normal things that everyone else does. It doesn't mean that we have to be completely different and completely easy to spot across a crowd to be an artist. You never know. An artist could be someone just like you. Okay, so this one actually exhausts me. And this stereotype is the pretentious artist. Oh God, the pretentious artist. And this isn't just somebody who makes millions of dollars off one piece of art or hundreds of thousands of dollars off a piece of art. No, no, no. The pretentious artist comes in all price points. There's an asshole for every price point. In fact, it can be somebody who's just starting in their art career in art school, or it can be somebody who's way down the road and thinks they know it all. But what's so unfortunate about the pretentious artist is they don't take constructive criticism very well when, maybe they are doing really great at what they're doing, but maybe they're not. And if somebody tells them, this might work better, have you tried this? They're very dismissive of it. And they'll even put people down for giving them constructive criticism. And it's just a huge miss because they could grow, they could learn, but they are absolutely so sure that they are right and they know what's going on. And you also, they also make people feel bad about their art and the art that they like. So whenever somebody sees something that's an art piece, your reaction to it is instinct. It is gut. It is in your heart. You just like what you like. Art is subjective, and that's what's so great about art. But when somebody is a pretentious artist, they often make people feel bad about the art they like. Claiming that that's not real art, or that's just so below the level of art that is of any caliber to consider. If you like cartoons, that's art. If you like graphic novels, that's art. If you like knitting and crocheting and craft shows, that's art. Art is absolutely subjective. And what's so scary about pretentious artists is they put a sour taste in people's mouths by making others feel like they're not smart enough or the art they're interested in isn't good enough. And that just separates people from art. It just makes people feel like art isn't for them. Because anytime you're embarrassed about the kind of art you like, or what you know about art, or your opinion about art, you take a step back and you don't want to step forward again. And pretentious artists do that all the time. They really, really disconnect people from art. And it's basically because they're a martyr to their ego. And it drives me nuts. It's the worst. And last but not least, my most hated stereotype of an artist is the space cadet. This is the kind of person that's scattered and unorganized, and they maybe haven't bathed in a while. You assume that they're taking drugs of multiple kinds. They're never on time. They don't respond to your emails, or maybe they only respond to part of the email. It's just, they are not reliable. Okay, they're just not reliable. If you have a meeting, they'll show up way late, wasting the time of every single person in that meeting. If you need them to do something, it's not going to be done on time because they are just scattered and just a mess. The problem is, it's not quirky. It's not cute. It makes us all look bad. Okay? So when artists show up without their shit together and an absolute mess and cause other people to waste their time at the meetings, other people not get projects done, it makes us all look bad. And so I guess that's just what I want to say about these stereotypes. And I think you have to take it with a grain of salt whenever you meet an artist that lives out one of these stereotypes. All right, give me a like and a subscribe if you like this video. I post videos on Saturdays, And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.